I want to show you how to emboss the Pronty stencils with the die cut embossing machine. In this case, with this machine, the Trouvaille, first you lay the A plate. On the A plate you put the rubber mat. Then you take your piece of paper. On the paper you place the stencil. And then at last you take the black embossing plate. Then you turn the handle and your plates are going through the machine and the embossing process is going on. So when it's through, I take my plates and I'll remove the plates and the stencil, and now you can see how beautiful. After stenciling, it's important to clean your stencil immediately, because otherwise the paint will dry in the stencil and it's not so easy to remove it. To remove the paint, I use a wet cleaning towel, and I have placed my stencil on a plastic sheet to cover my table, and you see in this way I can easily remove the paint from the stencil. And then I can use it more often, because we want to do more than one stenciling with this beautiful flower. Be careful not to break these small bridges in the stencil. Therefore I also put them on a flat surface. Take a clean part of my towel. This side is clean now, then I remove it and I'll clean this and I'll put it on the other side. Take a clean towel. Now I clean this side. Then I can take a piece of paper to dry my stencil, and I can store him for the next use. So. At first I want to make a beautiful Christmas card. I have this stencil with these ice crystals. I put my ice crystal in place. I've sorted out already some of the stamping inks. You can use all kind of inks you want. It doesn't matter. I need an ink applicator. Here I have one for green. Now I take my applicator, I take my ink, do some of the ink on the applicator, and then I put my stencil in place. Most of the times I tape off some of the parts of the design I don't use. Otherwise, perhaps I get some stains on my card. This one. I want to use only this star with this card. So, I put them in place. I already did the ink on my applicator, and now from the outer edge off I apply the stamping ink onto my paper. Now I take my star again and I put them on another place. So, and now I take another color, this camel color. This is a quick and easy way to make a lot of cards for your Christmas collection. Stenciling on textile is the same way of stenciling than stenciling on canvas or on wood. The only difference is that I apply a little layer of glue on the behind of my stencil. I'll show you how. I'll put the spray on the behind of the stencil and then I let it dry. When it's completely dry, I put my stencil on my t-shirt in this case. And because I did the glue spray on it, I can secure it very good on the textile. You see, I put a piece of cardboard into my t-shirt to cover or to protect the back of the t-shirt. Now my stencil is in place. I took crepe tape to cover all the holes and points in the stencil, and also on the edges where my design is very near the edge to prevent that I get some dirt on places on the t-shirt. I use textile paint in this case. It's the 4-card textile paint. First I start with the stenciling of the butterflies. I put the paint into the stencil brush. What's a brush with very short, stiff hairs. I remove the most of the paint on my paper towel, and now in circular motions I bring my paint from the stencil onto the textile. I'll do it in this case in circular motions. My brush is almost dry. By putting pressure I get the paint out of the brush. In the middle I don't want to have a lot of paint, therefore I less pressure, here more pressure, I get a darker color. So, I think my whole design is done. Now I can remove the stencil, and there's my design. When I have them in place, I have preheated my iron on cotton, or 3 dots. On most iron they have dots. And then I take a damp cloth. I put the cloth over my textile. Be sure that it's all covered with the cloth. And then I take my iron and I hold my iron 20 until 30 seconds in place. Give a little pressure. Be careful, it's hot. Now I take this off, and you see it's all set, it's hot, it's still warm, therefore the glue is not completely dry. Then I move my textile and I take the back of the product, I put again my cloth on it, and I also iron it on the back of this t-shirt. So, I think now it's done. That is the easy way, the most easy way to apply a patch on textile. You see, it's only a minute and you're done. We advise you, when you want to wear it often or you want to wash it a lot of times, then we advise to make a little stitch around the patch. You can do that with the sewing machine or by hand. I did it on the back of my t-shirt. You can see it over here. I made little stitches with my needle and thread here, so just around the outer edge of the patch. Then you are sure that your patch won't come off after washing.